Hello, and thank you for dropping in on this clip, which is a series of clips in which we get to explore, discover and find out more about the natural wonders of the Sydney Basin. And here I am in the inner west suburbs of Sydney at a site that probably doesn't scream natural wonders, and yet the natural wonders of this area contributed to a very significant industrial period back in the 20th century. In acknowledging that this site was important for that 20th century industrial period, I'd also like to acknowledge the significance of this site and the surrounding area to the traditional custodians of these lands, which are the Gadigal and Wangal peoples. And I'd like to pay my respect to all those peoples, past, present and future. I've zoomed in a little bit closer to see if the shape of this wall with this face on this side, this angled face, and also the way it goes around behind me, this square shape behind me here and comes up on the other side, whether this gives us some clues as to the type of industry that might have been here. The industry that I mentioned contributed so much to the construction of Sydney during that time, and also to the character of Sydney. And given we've only got this much wall to work with, maybe we need to go to another place, a similar area that would have had similar industry, and see if there's other layers that they provide that we can start to build together the story that took place on this particular site. So I'm thinking, let's head on to some of these other areas and see what we can see and find out what we can find out. Here we are at Henson Park, home of the mighty Newtown Jets Rugby League Club, a much loved club throughout the 20th century, reflecting the proud history in this area with the sport of rugby league. And together with acknowledging the Jets, we've come here to Henson Park because of a rumour that said this area was once used for an industrial activity similar to our initial site. And by coming here, I thought we might be able to see some of the items and relics that reflect this period and that we could use to help build our story. But in looking around, I think we'll be coming up short, as it is well and truly a sporting ground now, and anything left from its previous use are either buried or going to be very hard to find. Hope you're enjoying this view from one of the big hills here in Sydney Park, looking to the south, and immediately in front of us is Sydney Airport, and then further south is the green area of Royal National Park, and those slight bumps and rises there on the horizon, they are the southern areas of Royal National Park. Now I can swing around to the east from this lookout, keep on going around to the northeast, and then to the north is a great view of the CBD of Sydney. And as we swing around to the northwest, over the suburbs of Newtown, Erskineville, St Peters, we then start to see to the west. Hang on, are they some chimneys we can see? I've been tracking for a while now, and those chimneys are definitely getting a bit closer. So I think we've just got one more rise to go to find out what's going on the other side of this hill. We're almost underneath these chimneys, and we're getting pretty close to these walls, and those walls are looking a little bit like the walls at the place where we first started. I remember that angle that we were looking at back at that original site, and it was a bit like this. It had that angle to it. It wasn't as high as this, and I'm just wondering if maybe it was a similar wall to this, and so it would have been a similar building to this. Guess what I just found? Check it out, check it out. A sign. And on the sign, it's going to tell us a bit about the story of this place. First paragraph, it says, the brick kilns in the northwest corner of Sydney Park are a reminder of the site's previous use as a brickworks. So this was a brickworks site, because it goes on further to say how they extracted shale and clay from the area to then bring into these kilns, mash them up, fire them up, and create the bricks that were used around Sydney. So our original site, similar to this site, was a brick making site. Super cool. back at our original site. And now that we've visited some other sites, we can put together the story of this particular site and the industrial period within which it operated. It was a brick making site. It was operated by the South Ashfield Brick Company from around the early 1900s to about 1960s. And the brick making activity that would have taken place in here would have had such an influence on the ambience, because at the moment it's reasonably quiet. There's a few people playing over there, there's some kids on their push bikes, but apart from that, there's a bit of traffic noise. 100 odd years ago, this would have been a buzz with machinery and different activity related to that brick making operation. And that's one of the reasons why I chose this site, because it does reflect that industrial period. It also reflects the name of that particular rock group that contributed and allowed for that brick making operation to take place. And the name of that rock group is the Ashfield Shales. And we are right next door to Ashfield, the suburb from which the name of the Ashfield Shales derives. As we step outside the story of this site, I look forward to sharing with you in our next clip how the Hawkesbury Sandstone rock group also played an important part in the construction activities around Sydney. Look forward to seeing you then.